Guys, welcome back to HPL. Purple up 2-0 over Era. Despite the fact that I think Era has kind of had the matchup edge in this one, Purple dedicating his resources picture perfect to handle what Era's throwing at him.
That was a mouthful, but yeah. It's been amazing watching Era queue up his decks here in HPL so far, and they've all seemed very good for the matchups that he's gotten. And you know what? He's come this close to winning every time. He's just barely lost every time, and you got to feel for the guy. But you know what? It's not over yet. He's down 0-2. He can win 3 in a row. It's going to be hard. He's playing against Purple, one of those Archon dominant players, but he's not out of it.
Yeah, he's not out of it just yet. They've made some changes to their decks, perhaps. Anything can happen here in HPL. Game 3 with Purple and Era is getting underway.
Guys, use that hashtag, go on HPL. Let us know what you think about Era's deck choices so far. You know what? I think I just saw a misdirection in Era's opening hand.
Certainly did. That looks like it's more of a trap-oriented Hunter build. But Purple, once again, going with Druid. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This guy, I mean, if your strategies are working, why change it up?
Yeah, dance with the girl that brought you. I mean, you're up 2-0. Just win with Druid. And
yeah,
you know, he's got an early wild growth too. That's pretty good.
Wild growth is finally something that's coming out in these games. But you know, Druid versus Hunter can be one of those tough matchups. If you don't have the right cards and they get those aggressive starts, you can find yourself struggling. But here, he's got Keeper of the Grove right away to handle this Knife Juggler or the Mad Scientist, whichever one he thinks is a bigger threat.
Yeah, and he drew an Azure Drake as well, not to be forgotten. Just a perfect draw for his next turn.
Yeah, something like Sludge Belcher would have been great as well. Druid, you know, very, very centered around that 5 spot, has a lot of powerful options. But with a deck like this, Era, you know, again, able to push for damage or handle this Keeper of the Grove. He's going to favor to keep his board under control and make sure he can try to push some damage through. This 2-1, I don't see this dying here to the way that Purple plays. He's just going to I think he's just going to play this Azure Drake and move forward. Now, I say that, but he's also got the Big Game Hunter to couple with it, so he does have an option ahead of him. He could also potentially even utilize the second Wild Growth here, but this is just so much his style. Get the Azure Drake on the board, and then find ways to start handling what's happening afterwards.
Yeah, you saw him trade his Mad Scientist there, getting a secret out of his deck, making sure he's not drawing it, and, as I was about to say, he gets an extra secret play for his Eagle Horn Bow, so he gets an extra charge out of it this turn.
Yeah, Purple, by the way, not aware that there's going to be a misdirection here in Era's hand. That is a card that is basically never played. So to see exactly what he's going to do, again, continuing to be patient. Purple does not attack into these traps very often. He continues to wait and find the right spots to apply that pressure.
You know, we talked about this coming into HPL. When you've played against a deck like Hunter and they've had something like Explosive Trap in their deck, would they change their traps in between games to kind of get you, since you can actually do that in this format?
Yep, so Purple, look at this. He already knows his game plan. Stay at a high life total and continue to be patient. Era's got a lot of traps in that Eagle Horn Bow, so should these traps be getting procced, he's going to get a lot of damage out of it. But Purple understands this strategy, and he's playing around it so far extremely well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what happens when this misdirection is going to get triggered here eventually. I can't wait to see Purple's reaction when that happens.
Yeah, just going to continue to hero power. I mean, this is basically the same story we saw game 1. Purple continuing to exercise patience, and Era just really having no way to find himself out of it. So he's looking, I suspect that Purple thinks that this is a freezing trap that's behind this explosive trap, and he is about to get a rude awakening here.
Yeah, no, this...
You saw him roll his eyes. Oh, straight to the dome here for 5. But you know, that's actually not the worst situation here. I think if he would have lost the damage and lost both of his minions, that would have been a worse scenario. So now he's in a position where this Cenarius can be absolutely dominant. He had the option here to Dr. Boom and hero power too. He's at 17 with a major board presence. If Era doesn't find a way to deal with all of this, it's going to be big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, this is a gigantic board presence from Purple here. You've seen Era just...
Leok? Nope, it's Misha.
Yeah, you've seen Era in all these games of Hunter just not get those super aggressive draws and really capitalize on them so far. You've seen a lot of turns of hero power and passing. And it's not what you want to be doing with these Hunter decks.
Yep, so trying to figure out now if he wants to trade with his Shredder. I would suspect one of these is going to, since the Shredder is directly challenging that Misha.
Yeah, you got to believe he's doing it, but I think he's going to count up his damage here and just figure out if there's a way that he could actually possibly win next turn.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. That the difference between 3 and 2 damage could be big right now, so that's exactly what he's going to count. From his hand, it looks like he's got 9. If there's no taunts on the board, 10, 11, 12 with that Eagle Horn Bow, and then 2 more with the hero power. So he's got about 14 in here. So the fact that he could push that 3 damage could be a big selling point for him, but you know, I still got to believe that trading it away is not a bad decision. And, you know, at this point, when you see a deck like this, he's drawn most of his utility cards. Almost everything that's left in here is draw density in terms of damage. And, I mean, Purple's just 1 card away from having a big combo here, but swipe. Oh, and there's the Savage Roar. If Era can't deal 17 damage next turn or find a way to stop what's going on, Purple is about to pick up a 3-0.
Yeah, you're going to see all of the games end with Savage Roar force of nature. Just how all the Druid decks draw it up.
Yeah, it just seems that way. 5/8 scenarios. Era's down to 12. Animal Companion. I don't think that this can be any help at this point.
Misha's going to stem the bleeding a little bit, but it's not going to be enough to stop Purple's onslaught next turn. He's going to have the combo. He's going to have more than enough damage to kill Era here, and Purple's going to go up 3-0 in this match and win his first round here in HPL.
Yeah, playing fantastically, but you know, you gotta feel for Era a little bit. You know, he's had some good draws, but Purple's kind of stayed one step ahead of him in every single way and just had the better of him in this match. Again, just 3 straight games with Druid here, and every single one of these has had big game hunters. He hasn't even been able to use one of them. Just solid Druid play, great resource allocation, and great play from Purple. 3-0 over to him.
And Archon strutting its stuff here early with 2 wins already over Era. Era's got to feel a little beat up playing against both Archon players here early, and you're seeing that power of that group, you know, with Purple behind them, teaching them all, you know, how to play. And, you know, they probably don't need that much help, but any help is welcome, and you're seeing the power of him in this tournament.
Yeah, really kind of showing you how important it is to have teams in Hearthstone as well. You know, the fact that it's an individual performance, the fact of the matter is that Hearthstone is a very big information battle. So the people who have the most access to the best information are the ones who are going to have the best chances to win. When you have that collection of great minds and people who are willing to do all the math and put in all the time and the practice to figure out what the best strategies are, those are the ones who you see winning. But Era finds himself 0-2 here again, but you know, he's had to play against both Archon members. So the rest of his matches, he doesn't have to face them here in the regular season, and I think that's sort of a sigh of relief.
Yeah, it's got to be a sigh of relief for him. And if you want to see the strategies that these Archon players have been using, and any other players in HPL, or any other professional player in Hearthstone for that matter, you can go to pvplive.net and see all their strategies, their deck lists, how they build them, how they play them, and all their career statistics. You can follow along with your favorite players. Any information you want on Hearthstone right there on pvplive.net.
Impressive performance from Purple. He's going to take this series again 3-0 versus Era, who moves to 0-2 in HPL. When we come back, we're going to have an interview with Purple, get some insight into his strategy and exactly what he was trying to target from Era when he queued up this Druid deck. Guys, don't go anywhere. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.